What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, and this is my sort of reaction, sort of mini recap, just my thoughts on the Acolyte episode 6. This is, again, only the second thing I've reviewed since last week's episode. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to start maybe reviewing some more stuff. Let me know what you guys think. So where to begin with this one? I don't want to make it too long. I won't do a full on, like, every little detail. Some things I liked. Let's see some things I liked. I liked Chimere in this episode. Last week I was struggling with the names. I liked Chimere. I liked his acting. I liked his vulnerability. And I love Soul. I think Soul is... Those two are carrying the show by far right now. And if anything, Chimere is kind of overtaking, but I like the actor that plays Soul. Anyway, I think I think some of that acting there, I see what they were going for, right? Again, this show was really advertised as the origins of the Sith. They're really trying to make the Sith the protagonists of the show, and you really kind of felt it with this episode, right? There's a lot of predictable stuff and a lot of stuff that just kind of made me cringe a bit. So let's start with both girls. Osha wakes up. She's on this island. Cool. You know what? Actually, great scenery. I love that. Actually, I like the island that she's with Chimere. I thought that was awesome. I still don't know how this show costs $186 million or $180 million. Makes no sense. You don't see it. There's no way they're paying that much to film just trees and islands. Anyway, doesn't matter. But a lot of the episode is flip-flopping between Mayan, Soul, and Chimere and Osha. I mean, they both try to sneak up on the guys with a knife. Like, May just had it on her. Osha just finds one. And they both try and sneak up on them. I was like, come on. Like, really? Couldn't even at least just give one of them a blaster. And again, I still don't understand. And I'm like the majority of the people. I don't understand May's... I don't understand either of them. Like, May or Osha, what they want at this point. May keeps saying, you forgot, or they mind wiped you, whatever. Look, you just said when you thought Chimere was just a lackey, you're going to turn yourself into the Jedi. And again, it doesn't come across as, she was lying. That's what you wanted to do. And now the last episode, she gets, Jackie tries to arrest her, and instead of just like saying, okay, take me and we'll talk, no, she tries to kill Jackie. And then in this episode, now she tries to kill Soul. And again, so I can't tell if he knew the whole time or if he didn't, right? If it was just because of that little tracker thing. Or, because if he did know the whole time that it was May, right? Because even in the last episode, he said, where's your sister? He didn't say, where is May, thinking she's Osha. He just said, where's your sister? Implying that he knew it was May the whole time. But then why would you just leave? Because he asked her, where's your sister? And she said, she's gone. You're just going to believe her? I don't understand. You're not going to do follow-up questions. Let's say two ways. Let's say he did know it was May the whole time, but you showed zero care about Osha and his whole... it makes no sense. And then if vice versa, he thought it was Osha, how would you think it's Osha when you know her? And there's the scar on May's face, and she just lightsabered her hair. Burnt hair is a smell, by the way, but, it doesn't, whatever, that doesn't matter. So, whatever. So, anyway, so let's say that he only realized halfway through the episode that this was May. And he thinks it's Osha. And he has his back to her. She pulls out the knife. Like, she's ready to kill him. And just he says, Osha, go find something, or I gotta go take the wheel. Whatever he said. And he walks right by her. why didn't she just stab him? Like, if that's what she wants, because like she has a little knife, the same 2-inch knife that she killed Trinity with, like he's walking by, boom, shivved. I don't get it. I don't get it with May, right? I don't understand with her. Like, clearly they're showing that May is gonna sort of is on the path now to kind of become good. Osha's gonna bring out her dark side. I don't think either of them will be Jedi or Sith. Does it, like, it makes no sense that they would be. Osha for just no training. So yeah, and I mean, I get what the showrunners are going for. Like, I liked the fact that they really, again, are making Chimere now the empathetic character, and he the whole time he's vulnerable. Like, he literally knows she's there, and he decides to strip naked. Like, he knew she was already there, I'm assuming. He leaves his weapon, right? So he strips down, he goes for a dip in the water, and he comes up, and he's literally walking up to her naked, and she's got the lightsaber on him, and he's like, can I just put my clothes on? So he left it very open, whereas you see later that when Soul makes it obvious he knows it's May, he shoots her in the back with the stun gun. So it's like he's shooting her when she's got her back turned, and literally you have Chimere having his back turned when he's naked at his most vulnerable, right? Like, literally offering, okay, you're gonna do something, do it, right? So I get that. Like cool. I understand what you're going for, and it wasn't poorly executed. I'll say that. It's just like when he's trying to bring her over to the dark side, or just basically say that semantics, right? He says it. He still killed 8 people. He still had her murder 2 people, right? Like, again, they can play it off that she only murdered because she said to attack her first, but she was already killing patrons, killing things. And it's like he had already killed the Wookiee. We didn't see the fight. I don't know if we'll ever see the fight, but the Wookiee's dead. So yes, the Jedi are going to be on guard, but he's like, I'm fighting for my survival. But you could walk away. You're the one killing people. So, and again, I'll say this. I like Chimere. He's probably the best character right now. He's probably my favorite in the show. Just like a lot of people are watching it. But that's not a hard feat to be the favorite in a pretty mediocre at best show. I'm sorry. It's mediocre at best. I did think this episode gave a lot of information. It's just, it's so late. It's so late. And again, the episodes are so short. This is a drama. It's supposed to be a drama. And it's 30 minutes, right? I think there was maybe 30 minutes of acting this time. He talks about the kurtosis armor. And again, if this armor exists, why don't people use it, right? Because they make it that some Sith, I guess, in the lore are very honorable, but some are like, nah, man. Like that's that. Like, how did Count Dooku get away? Right, he wasn't going to beat Yoda, so he decides to throw something at Obi-Wan and Anakin, and it distracts whatever, and he gets away. Generally, even I guess some people describe the way Maul beat Qui-Gon. He hit him with the butt. Like, again, it's very different than using armor, whatever, but like he did something that's not necessarily honorable way of fighting, whatever. Anyway, the point is, so why don't people use this armor? Like, it doesn't make sense. Is it as hard to find as the Mandalorian armor? I don't think so. At least that's my perception. I don't know, I could be wrong. So I don't understand why even introduce that, right? And again, like I was saying, he's the best part, but he doesn't feel like they're really trying to make him empathetic, right? So he doesn't feel like a Sith Lord. To me, he almost reads like a guy that has some training, but it's like those people like in high school that were like, I'm a vampire, because they read vampire books and they do everything that a vampire is supposed to do, but they're not a vampire because they're a person. Vampires aren't, real. So it's like this guy, it's like he studied the Sith, but he's not actually a Sith. And even the way he talks, it's like it feels like, I just want to be free. I just want a pupil. and it's not that his acting is bad, because actually it's very natural the way he's speaking. So it's just, it doesn't feel like it feels like someone from Earth speaking. It feels like a sad person from Earth. When you have people that are green, you have Wookiees, you have Yodas. And speaking of Yoda, why isn't he in the show? Why isn't he in the show? And I had someone in my last video say like, oh, Yoda couldn't sense everything. He only senses when 1,000 people are dead. Wrong. I mean, if Luke, who in Empire Strikes Back, he'd been training for what, a year? If at a year, and again, you know, Skywalker blood, lost potential, whatever, it doesn't matter. That was Yoda. If Luke at a year could sense when his friends were in danger, not even dying, danger, and he went right to them, right? And they were however far away. This, again, is a world now where 2 Jedi were flat out murdered. And they make it that Jedis, you know, they say, like, Jedis can't be killed. Because they even say that in The Phantom Menace, right? Anakin's like, you can't kill it. Nobody can kill a Jedi. Right? There's that perception. Now, that's not true because the Jedi's know better. But, like, 2 have been assassinated. Right? And then now 8 are murdered by this guy. Yoda would know. I'm sorry. He is so in tune with the Force. He would know. He wouldn't know exactly what happened, but he would know. And he would go investigate. Right? Where is he? So again, look, if you're a Star Wars like fanatic and I'm way off base here, tell me, please. But it doesn't make sense. Right? And then, yeah, so then, you know, Soul, he's trying to like do these transmissions and it's like, my team is dead. He's trying to find the words. Dude, Sith. Just say Sith. Murdered. Jedi. Dead. Dark side. Like something. Like just go. Because it's not like he was trying to think of what happened. No. You need help. Sith. Like just say it, man. I don't get it. Like why? Again, it's just to add drama. Just so the show can happen. Just so that the Sith can still be a mystery. Whatever. So, okay, and then, like, I guess the last thing is, like, this whole Anestra, right? I think she's Leslie Headland's partner in real life. So, I think Leslie Headland said there's 2 Sith. Maybe that the Stranger or Chimere isn't even actually a Sith. Like, she's not even, maybe he's not one of the Sith. Because he says, you can call me a Sith, but maybe he's not. He's trying to be a Sith. But let's say he is, right? Again, there's nothing he's done. Because he talked about the rule of 2, whatever. But let's say he's a Sith, right? Let's say he's a Sith. So then there's going to be one more Sith. I feel like it's going to be her, right? It's going to either be, again, one of the moms, which I would be actually very surprised at this point if it is. But it could be Anestra, right? Maybe it's her. I think it might be her because yeah, let's not bring it to the High Council, these murders, and then she all of a sudden is gonna go investigate it. No, they're dead. This other Jedi who's like, it tells them they're dead. She's gonna go by herself. No, obviously, get 500 Jedis. Let's go. So something's going on there. So I think what they're going to do, they're going to lean into or give you the impression that Saul did something really bad. Saul, I always forget. Saul did something really bad. And it's going to almost allude to him being a bad guy, like actually end up being a villain, but he's not. I don't think he will be. I feel like he maybe tried to prevent something. Like it doesn't make sense if he did something actually terrible. It just doesn't. Like, if he made a mistake, like, he tried to do something and some people died, like, he tried to save somebody, whatever. I don't know. I hope they don't do that. Anyway, I feel like they'll allude to him being bad, but actually, she's gonna end up being the Sith Lord or something. I don't know. I still say, like, why what was stopping them from setting this in an era 1,000 years before the prequels, right? I don't understand why they didn't just do that in the first place. Because if something this bad, like this many Jedis died, right? And again, you can find these holocrons, these things. Like, if all these Jedi's died, and it was only 100 years ago, that's like 10 years for Yoda. Yoda would not be so oblivious or confident that the Sith aren't around, even though he says, clouded the dark side is, right? But 100 years to him is 10 years. If something happened to me 10 years ago that was that bad, I'm not gonna easily forget about it. That's a quarter of my life so far, right? I just don't get why they didn't just, hey, make it 1,000 years ago, just like House of the Dragon. It's set like 100 and some odd years before, Game of Thrones, because what they're talking about, like everything that's happened, they didn't say anything in Game of Thrones that all the important stuff happened 1,000 years ago, but they said it far enough away that there's no one in the world of House of the Dragon, that could still be in the world of Game of Thrones, right? So I just don't know why. Anyway, I guess I did talk a lot. Oh, can I also just say, there was one moment, and it was terrible acting, and I'm sorry. I am really sorry. I haven't commented on this a lot. But when Osha's like, I failed, and like clearly he knows she's not gonna stab him, it came across as so weak. Like, he needed, and that might have been directing. Like, it might not have necessarily been the actress's fault, Amandla, because he needed to keep. He kept prodding her, but it didn't, like, the way it was executed. When she's like, I failed, boom, and it was so bad. Like, it needed to like, what needed to happen was, it escalates, and it finishes with her like pretending to hit him, or like, and then it's the low, I failed. Right? It was just so over the top that it almost felt like something you would maybe do on stage, maybe, because it was just so bad that, like, I'm sorry, it was just, that moment was so bad. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just went all over this place, but like the kurtosis armor, I thought that was kind of cool, the sensory deprivation thing with the helmet, and it was actually very eerie at the end of the episode when she puts it on. So obviously, it's just, so again, I just saw one YouTuber, Stupendous Wave, talking about that if someone does like that kind of sensory where they're just into with the Force, they're like super powerful. And yes, Kymir, like, I think he did most of the killing with the helmet on. I think he did most of, except for the neck snap with Yord, but he did most of the killing with. But he seemed more intimidating without it, and he actually seemed quicker and actually more, like, he was doing things like not even looking without the helmet, and he was like force choke, whatever it was. Anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. It still looks bad. I don't like that teeth, and I know I'm not the only person. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think this episode. I think last week's episode was much worse, actually, just because there was so little that actually happened, and it was flashy fighting, but no substance. This, I kind of like that they're getting into the lore, but it's just so little, and it almost feels forced, and it feels predictable where they're going with Ocean May, but who cares about them? And it's still like, I just don't like that they're making, I don't know, there's so many things that could just be prevented with basic thinking in this show in terms of the actual story and the way characters act. I don't know. I've said a lot. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below if you want me to review other stuff. I'm like, it's so weird. I'm watching this show. Like, there's actually, I think, 4 shows right now that I'm into. The Boys is just brilliant, killing it. I know a lot of I guess certain people with certain politics aren't actually liking it as much now. Like, anyway, I think the show's still brilliant. House of the Dragon has been fantastic. And again, House of the Dragon, we just had an episode in a comparison, another random naked guy, but it was meant, again, just the meaning behind it was much more palpable, right? And it was a lot of talking, like just a lot of discussions, a lot of revelations in the last one, just like there's revelations in this show. But the execution in House of the Dragon is so much better. And they're both at 8 episodes, by the way, this season, Acolyte and House of the Dragon season 2. And I'm pretty sure House of the Dragon cost less. I could be wrong. You could tell me if I'm wrong. And then I'm actually, the only other show I'm really invested in right now is My Adventures with Superman, which is another half-hour, it's a cartoon, and that is such an underrated show. So far, the 2 Superman shows we've had on TV, Superman and Lois and My Adventures with Superman, are crushing it. They're not the best things on TV. I'm not gonna say that. They are not The Last of Us. They're not, House of the Dragon, whatever. But for like a Cartoon Network, and then for like a CW like superhero show, they're both great. Anyway, off track. But it's like I'm watching those 3 shows and I'm watching The Acolyte. And it's like, man, on a kid's cartoon show about Superman and flying in, and also now this last couple episodes has to do with space. Like there's more logic in that than this one that is really trying to have you connect with these characters. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. I have said a lot, so if you stuck around, watch the whole thing, thank you so much. Yeah, leave your comments down below, and we'll catch you on the next one.